Hi guys, so today I'm going to be answering the question according to both the online lecture parts 1 and 2, how was the institution of slavery shaped by gender? So I'm going to start with slavery was shaped by gender in many ways according to both the lecture and Kindred by Octavia Butler. In the lecture we learned how black enslaved women were subject to rape. Primarily for reproduction purposes, so slaveholders could make more profit off the offspring, either through slavery if they were men, or women, they were considered fancy trade, so they were subject to prostitution and more rape, unfortunately, but it was profitable for the white men. Another example of how women were subject to rape was Alice from Kindred. When Master Rufus wanted her, he demanded her to come to his room or she would be beaten. They did end up producing 2 offspring, and more that ended up passing, but still 2 survived. Women were subject to more violence physically and psychologically, in my opinion, from slavery because of their gender, being raped, being forced to reproduce with men, being forced to abort if they chose to go that route. I think that's just really hard on women overall. And not only were women used for reproduction purposes to gain profit, but they were also expected to be, quote, quote, expert in all things domestic, and that's according to part 1 of our lecture. Right. And then in Kindred, Octavia Butler also demonstrates the mammy stereotype with Sarah, and just how enslaved women were treated so poor, yet expected to help maintain the plantation household and slave cabin overall. For example, Sarah cooked, cleaned, and maintained the slave cabin outside. She had a motherly attitude towards everyone in the cabin, including her daughter Carrie and the Wyland son Rufus. All 3 of her children were sold, except Carrie, because of her deformity, and she still maintained a positive attitude about being enslaved on the Wyland plantation. And when I say positive, I don't mean like she was ecstatic or happy to be enslaved or be captive on the Wyland plantation, but what I do mean is that she never tried to run away. She just dealt with slavery. And an example I have from that is page 145. Sarah says, "Things ain't bad here, I can get along." Overall, women who were enslaved contributed to different aspects to slavery: reproduction, domestic chores, abuse, and psychological abuse as well. Men were also subject to both the psychological and physical abuse in different ways, and they made up the strength in the fields. And that's all I have. Thank you.